the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you live downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. We're with you for the next 4 hours here on a Monday. We'll get to a preview of the Texans and Cowboys multiple times in that window, including the next 15 minutes. Week 11 reactions, Week 12 numbers that we have. Do you concur? The good, the bad, and the ugly from the weekend. And Nick Bogdanovich on college football and the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight from over the weekend. How are you?
All right. Good. You?
Not too bad.
All right.
Pretty exciting weekend. I guess it's not the Kansas City Chiefs Invitational after all, huh? That was a good game. I thought the marquee games of the weekend, I mean, with all things considered, Paulie, the drama, how they played out, pretty damn good overall. Led by that one, and, tip your cap to the Buffalo Bills. They were down a couple of key guys in that game yesterday. No Dalton Kincaid. No Keon Coleman. Josh Allen was fantastic when it mattered most. And the Chiefs they're not scary. And that happened to be their first loss of the season. And I was hinting at this on the Friday show. I think plenty of contenders exist in the AFC. Now, it's easier said than done, right? Going to Arrowhead if they get the 1 seed overall and winning in cold weather and beating that guy. But the Bills are a damn good football team.
Yeah. And Nance nailed it. It was the play of the year in the NFL. The 1 seed now is up for grabs. Allen becomes the favorite to win MVP. Guts by McDermott to go for it there. He probably kicks it if he has confidence in his kicker to go up 5. But that was the right move. And then Kansas City finally allows more than 27 points. And for only the 5th time in his career, Mahomes loses a game by more than one score.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. You can't blow this guy out, and people were ticked off. They couldn't cover their teasers either. So it was just a phenomenal game with that finish, the right call. He becomes the favorite to an MVP, and it's all right there for what happened. And the Bills play the Lions coming up, but it was the undefeated talk, everything that could happen. You're also right, too, about the Kansas City takeaways. You're not going to win every game, but this Houdini act, and can they pull it out in the second half yet again? They weren't scary. Kelsey was a non-factor. Worthy can never get his feet down, it seems. And it was an okay average performance by Mahomes, and the Bills got it done.
Now, I don't know how many more losses the Chiefs have on their schedule, right? Because they're double-digit favorites this weekend at Carolina. They play the Raiders at home. That's on Thanksgiving weekend. They get the Chargers at home. That's tough. Mm-hmm. Chargers play them tough all the time, and they looked awesome last night offensively. They play at Cleveland. They get Houston at home, at Pittsburgh, and then at Denver. So, I mean, maybe a couple of losses. They are, this morning, I saw plus 135 to have 15 wins in the regular season. Not a big enough number for me to bet that, but this team is still going to end up, at worst, I think they're going to be 13-4, and that's probably a really bad stretch of football for them.
Yeah.
So I still think 14-3, maybe even 15-2 is doable here.
They should win the next 4 games. Yeah.
I think so.
Maybe 4-1 too, and that's also being conservative. Mm-hmm. If they go 4-1 in the next 5, because certainly the Chargers, that was ugly defensively and blowing that lead. But from the Bills standpoint, I mean, it's house money. I didn't expect this. I'm shocked by what Allen's doing. Less is more. I don't have to force the ball to any diva wide receivers. I still have guys out. Doesn't matter. And you're right. I think it's wide open in the AFC. Now with what happened in the early game as well.
So what will be the Bills' ultimate record, the final record at the end of the year this season?
Well, they haven't played the Patriots yet.
They get them twice.
Yep.
Buffalo's 10-1 to have 15 wins. That means that they would have to run the table. And they have the bye coming up. They get the Niners at home. They're at the Rams at Detroit. How's that for a stretch after the bye?
Yeah.
So they are looking at more losses here. That said, because of what happened yesterday to Lamar Jackson, and it happened again to him yesterday, by the way, against Pittsburgh, that team is now staring at the 5 seed, maybe at best, in the mirror. They're not going to give Jackson on a 5 or a 6 seed the MVP. Josh Allen, to me, has to be the runaway guy. I know if the game did not happen to Goff last week with the 5 INTs, I'd tell you that he's the short shot on the board today. But that game happened. Yeah, you can't forget about that.
You're right. But Goff also can't go from 20-1 back to 7-1 because he lit up an all-time bad Jacksonville team.
I felt like the Lions were trying to make up for what happened in the Houston game by trying to almost get him the MVP, get him back in the mix yesterday.
Yeah.
By doing what they did.
So I think that's an overreaction. Now down as low as 6-1, and then the big drop on Mahomes too. So you are right. We said it Friday. Jackson's running out of room here. You can't keep losing games.
Right.
And if you don't even win your division, I can't give you the MVP. I don't care what your numbers are at the end of the day. And I would say not so fast, my friend, with that Bills schedule coming up. You have to like them against the Niners off the bye. I like their chances. A bad matchup for the Rams, who have issues. And then we will see what happens when they go to war against Detroit. And then I get New England twice. So there's a chance that they can do this.
Yeah, they
close
are.
With only one more loss.
I didn't look at every book, like Legal Sportsbook today, but I noticed 2-1 to get the 1 seed. Pretty big effort yesterday and performance there. Mm-hmm. So if you think the Chiefs are going to lose maybe like 3 more games, then that would be a possible bet for you is to grab the Bills to get the 1 seed. You know, the more you examine it, maybe at home against the 49ers off the bye.
They're just not good. They're an average team.
Period. Yep.
We can't do this anymore. All the talent. Shanahan does it again, loses his mind. They blow another lead. They are losing to below average teams.
And look what happened when Bosa left the game yesterday.
That's right, down the field.
And Seattle scored every point after he had to leave.
And we're doing this for the 3rd year in a row. Cannot stay healthy. Big games, got to have it. Someone's always hurt.
Yeah.
So it's over and the window's closed. They're the 10 seed right now. Who had that before the year? San Francisco's the 10, Cincinnati's the 10.
Yeah, they're by the way, the Niners' updated win total today is 8.5. So that tells you they're at best they're on the precipice of the playoffs.
Yeah, they're 2-1 to make it. I know, and I don't like their chances.
And the Steelers, obviously, again, it's the same thing over and over and over again when these two teams play. Right? Now here's the problem: they had to settle for 6 field goals in that game against a bad and a lousy Ravens defense.
Right. Everything Tomlin does, even if it's a mistake, works out. He's trying a 58-yard field goal again, 4th and 1. Of course Boswell makes it.
Right.
He did the same thing against Atlanta. So Burrow throws for 9 touchdown passes in 2 games against the Ravens and goes 0-2. Pittsburgh doesn't score. They win the game and beat Jackson. And the second time they win a game without scoring a touchdown. And here again, you're right, House of Horrors. They just go in there and they lose their minds. Wilson didn't even play well. The Steelers didn't play well. Yep. It was a Pickens game we talked about. For the first time in 3 years, Henry fumbles. They have 12 penalties, and Tucker misses 2 big kicks yet again.
And I saw some breakdowns today of Justin Tucker. Now this year, it's gotten away from him this year because like the overall kicking accuracy, and I saw like from 55 yards plus or below, he was 95% in his career. Around that number this year, he's 75%. And again, the body language out there when he missed 2 of them yesterday.
Yeah, they lost the game.
That's exactly right. I'll tell you, I'll give you another reason why. I thought the 2-point, I have a ton of respect for this organization. They are good every year. They draft exceedingly well. They make the right moves in the offseason. What the hell was that play call for the 2-point conversion? You have Jackson going left?
What happened on the first one was going to be beautiful. He was going to the right and looked like it was going to be a jump pass.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
But then they called the timeout.
Yeah.
Then I don't know what they were going to do.
What's the end game there?
I don't know. That was bizarre. You got to do better than that.
Is he going to throw the ball left-handed as an option? Did you think it was going to be a jailbreak and nobody was going to be there from Pittsburgh defending the run? It had no prayer of working. Oh, I'm watching it with friends yesterday, and as soon as it was developing, we're like, this play what are they doing here? We're calling it live in real time. Like, this has no chance of working. Is he going to throw it? You run a guy who's super mobile to the left when he's a right-handed throwing quarterback. Mm-hmm. Perplexing move out of them. So, again, forget about, the division at this point for the Ravens. You would need a lot of help. I know the Steelers' schedule, we've been talking about this since May when they released the schedule. This is really where it gets super difficult. They had, winning a game like that yesterday was huge, but now they go on the road at Cleveland and Cincinnati, Cleveland again. And then they have this stretch where they play at Philly, at Baltimore, then KC before they play the Bengals the final weekend of the year. Mm-hmm. And now Tomlin is a short shot to win Coach of the Year.
Yep.
And Andy Reid, because of one loss, went from 4-1 to 20-1.
Yeah, the movement on Tomlin has to. He's got to be it now after what's going on. And then also we thought about this difficult stretch of the schedule to end the season. Not so daunting anymore. It's tough, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, I'd say the very back end is what scares me more than anything else.
You should win 2 of the next 3. I mean, I still like your chances at Cincinnati. They can't stop anything. Here's another kicker with the yips with McPherson. But the Browns' performance defensively was embarrassing and all-time bad. 75-yard run, Taysom Hill, no one touches him? What are we doing here? And they give up 220 on the ground? It's a joke.
By the way, Browns took a lot of money this week.
They did. I was on them, too. Silly, stupid. Contest play as well. Now, don't bet on bad teams. I went against my own advice.
Yeah. Winston had 400 yards passing.
I know,
right
yeah.
there. But I mean, come on with that defensive effort.
Yeah, Hopkins too. It was the year of the kicker. No one could miss for the first 6 weeks. Oh. Now with 27-yard field goals, an adventure. He misses from 32. He misses. It's like Elliott all over again. Wide left. Wide left. Wide left.
Now, having said all this about the AFC, I think almost all these teams that we talked about can go to KC and be right in it in the fourth quarter. Don't you? Even if Baltimore's the 5 and Lamar doesn't win the MVP, who cares about that? Mm-hmm. Baltimore can go to KC and win that game. I can't wait to watch Steelers at home to KC on Christmas Day. That is going to be a phenomenal contest. But I think Pittsburgh can beat them. I think clearly Buffalo can. Well, we'll see. That's 4 straight regular season wins for Buffalo over Kansas City. They have not been able to beat them in the postseason. But Buffalo's going to be a player. And again, the Chiefs get the Chargers one more time. But that Chargers offense now and John Harbaugh, it's pretty damn impressive.
Right. I think we know the 7 playoff teams. And then because of how well Knicks is playing and Denver's schedule, that's going to be your other one.
I think so.
9 and 8's going to get it done now.
I think that stretch from Miami when Tua came back and they blew both those games, kind of blew them both, it's going to come back to bite them in the ass.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be able to overcome that to get into the playoffs.
So probably going to have to run the table now.
We will discuss the Monday night tilt in Dallas between the Cowboys and the Texans. From a betting perspective, coming up, the Dallas weakness sticks out like a sore thumb, and this Texans player should be able to exploit it.
This Black Friday, get a VSiN Pro subscription for just $60 through May 1st. Our best deal of the year to help you sharpen your betting game. With VSiN Pro, you'll unlock expert picks sent to your inbox daily, unlimited access to our exclusive betting splits, and 24/7 video coverage through the VSiN Watch app. Plus, betting guides and best bets for the college football playoffs, the Super Bowl, and March Madness. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Visit VSiN.com/subscribe to sign up now and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Monday Night Football tonight in Dallas between the Cowboys and the Texans, and Houston laying between 7 or 7.5, and juiced, as you would imagine, in a variety of ways. I'm looking at 7 minus 115 at most shops, or 7.5 between minus 110 and even money at others, and the total is 41 or 41.5. I'm going to go back 2 years ago and remind you of a game and tie it into what we saw yesterday and tonight's matchup. The roles are kind of reversed here, right? Because 2 years ago, these two teams played in Dallas. The Cowboys were almost a 20-point favorite on December 11th, 2022. The Texans were a totally different football team.
Oh.
Davis Mills was the starting quarterback. They had no idea that they'd be getting C.J. Stroud at that point. And the Cowboys needed 10 points in the fourth quarter to beat them. They almost lost the game outright, and they were laying almost 20. So I'll tie that in. Think about that point spread for a second. Yesterday, the Lions were almost 13, with 13.5 or 14-point favorites against Jacksonville. This Lions team 2 weeks ago, Aaron Schatz, who does DVOA, said through like 8 or 9 weeks, they're the fifth best team going back to 1979. So they're one of the best teams DVOA has ever, like in the history of those advanced numbers, we've ever seen. They were laying 13.5 or 14 to a Mac Jones team in Jacksonville that I would say was probably as bad, if not worse, than that Houston team 2 years ago. So why are point spreads so much lower in 2024 than they were 2 years ago? This Detroit team clearly is better than that Dallas team.
Yeah.
And this Jacksonville team that we saw yesterday might be worse than the Houston team from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And to tie it into tonight's game, maybe the Cowboys are as bad with Cooper Rush and their injuries as Jacksonville looked at yesterday.
True. And it was a major whiff by me because when the news came out over the weekend, it's a formality. Peterson's going to be gone heading into the bye week. So then everyone knows that and thinks that. And they not that they were good anyways, but they laid down. I mean, the first 7 drives, touchdowns. And this doesn't happen in the NFL.
650 yards?
40 minutes time of possession. The first down disparity, a yard. They had 4 or 5 guys with 90 yards and a touchdown. It's never happened before. So I can't believe he hasn't been fired yet. But you're right. And the people that laid the alt numbers, good for you. That was the way to do it, too. Mm-hmm. You know, you could have laid 28.5, 35.5, 38.5. I think 37.5 was 20-1. So the same thing here. You have no home field advantage. It's a disadvantage. You've lost 5 in a row at home. You can't stop anything. You can't run the ball. Your one weapon's going to play, but he's banged up, and then you got a quarterback who can't do anything with Cooper Rush. So it's also a get-right game for Houston. Everyone's watching, and you get your stud back with Collins, who's missed 5 games. And Houston first half, if they don't get their first half, this is the bet to make. They always come out strong and jump on their opponents. Dallas embarrasses themselves. They're always down 3 touchdowns at home.
Sure. And by the way, definitely make sure you shop around because for the first half, I'm seeing between 3.5 and 4.5 at different books. And, oh, by the way, there's this history now going back to the playoffs last year where the Cowboys have been a total abomination at home and in the first half. We will remind you again of their scores here going back several years now for the Dallas Cowboys. Absolutely blasted. And at halftime in these spots, Paulie, I have it somewhere here. Yeah. I wrote this down somewhere. My apologies. And now I lost it.
It's been ugly.
Yeah, it's been horrific.
So
here we go. I got it. I'm sorry. So for the record, this year alone, 35-16, they trailed at half to the Saints. 21-6 at half to the Ravens. 27-6 at half to the Lions. 14-6 at half last week to the Eagles. And last year in the playoff game was 27-7 Green Bay at halftime. To your point, and then Houston comes out and they're a much better first half team.
Now, I also advise first half because I don't know what's going on at halftime. They're averaging 9 points per game in the second half, and we know what happened in the debacle Sunday night against Detroit, and they didn't even score and get shut out. So, but Stroud has been a different quarterback with Collins. He is 8-1 at DraftKings to have 10 catches if you want to. If they want to get him involved early here and throw to him a bunch. His passer rating is 30 points higher with Collins also, but. It figures to be a big mixing game. It should be a Collins game, and it should come out and finally look like the team that can be a contender in the AFC that we were hoping and waiting for. The other thing is I'm big on this is a turnover battle. Dallas is third worst in the differential, -10. Houston's +7. Dallas keeps giving it away. They hardly take it away. So -10 is the third worst in the league. And what we talked about with Levis and Darnold and all these quarterbacks, He's a relatively cheap price to throw an interception tonight. So there's nothing. Then Jerry Jones with the fight, promoting the Tyson fight, pretty much saying, I'm going to try to pitch the job to Deion Sanders. So Big Mike knows he's gone too.
Well, I think the writing's on the wall there.
That's over.
He has to know that. Okay. Yeah. So we were on the air until 8 o'clock Eastern a couple of weeks ago when the Texans also played in a primetime game against another really bad run defense, and that was the Jets. And we're like, this number's on the move, right? Everybody's betting Joe Mixon, and of course he went off and he went over his numbers in that game. So here's the thing with the Cowboys, right? When you look at their numbers, they are 30th in adjusted line yards, 32nd on defense at allowing power success. They're the worst team in football at that metric. 31st in stuffed rate. They're 28th in the second level. So running backs against Dallas so far, Kamara, 115 and 3 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 151 and 2 touchdowns. In the same game, Montgomery had 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. Gibbs had 63 yards. Garando for the Niners had 85 and a touchdown. Bijan had 86. Barkley last week had 66. And Mixon's carries so far in 5 different games, he's had 24, 25, 25, 25, and 30 carries. So his total, I think, for the rushing yards earlier was 84.5. Now as high as I'm looking at 89.5 in this game. But he should be able to blister this defense here tonight.
It's putrid. 40 points per game allowing at home, 29th in yards per play allowed, last in red zone defense. Add it all up, it should be a burial.
Yeah.
Should be a burial. You know, with the props, the props are difficult because of what you have with Cooper Rush and how ugly the Philadelphia game was. And I have to throw out the kickers, too, because there's the 2 bombers here. Longest field goal over, I guess, 48.5. Even money at DraftKings. But in terms of longest field goal made from a player or over 1.5, it's tough because of what's Dallas going to do, and is it a blowout late and Mike decides to go for it. But the Mackinnon number, though, today up at VSiN.com, road favorites on Monday Night Football laying 7 or more, 33% since 2012. But trends don't pay the rent, and I think Houston puts it on them here. And it's a shame we're stuck with this Cowboy outfit for a couple Monday nights.
Oh, by the way, they play again against the Bengals down the road in a primetime game. They can't flex out of it.
Is that real?
Something to do with an alternate. What is it? Is it the Simpsons the Nickelodeon broadcast?
It's a Nickelodeon Simpsons type thing?
Yeah. They've done too much production for it, and they can't flex out of it as a result.
Oh,
are you serious?
And we're stuck with Tommy Cutlets against Cooper Rush on Thanksgiving.
How about that?
We can't get away from these
Tommy
dudes.
Cutlets getting the start this week for the Giants, which we'll touch on a little bit later on.
We'll get out of the Browns, too. The Browns play the Broncos coming up on Monday night.
Oh, God.
We got some... I don't want to see the Browns.
I did play 2 player props tonight. One, C.J. Stroud, over 8.5 rushing yards. He's gone over that number in 6 of the 9 games this year. And I think the Cowboys somehow, they got to get creative offensively. I played CD Lamb over 1.5 yard rushing tonight. He's done that in 6 out of 9 games that he's played in so far this year.
All right.
And he's had multiple carries in several games so far on the season. So I think they're going to try to get him at least a rush in this game too.
If you haven't become a VSiN Pro subscriber, now's your chance. Tell your family, tell your friends. Come on, people. This deal's ridiculous. You get lost in all the stuff that's up there, and we continue to put out great info and in articles, stats, every single day, all the sports. Sign up today, VSiN Pro Access, everything we do through May 1st for $60. Every best bet, every host, every guest, the limited access to the betting splits from DK and Circa. Watch the videos, watch the video access, all the betting guides and the bets, college football playoffs, Super Bowl, March Madness, our best offer of the year. VSiN.com/subscribe, Black Friday special, May 1st, $60. Come on.
Incredible offer.
Everyone's doing a great job.
Okay, so it's the same venue tonight as we saw with the Tyson-Paul fight on Friday night. What'd you think?
It was a farce. My concerns going in that there was maybe an agreement or the fact that Mike came in compromised. Once you saw the sleeve on the knee, you knew something was up. And then the comments from Roy Jones, his legs would not let him get there. He can attack. No balance, all of it. So it was maybe like Mayweather-McGregor, where he gave him the first 2 rounds. Paul was $1.80 in play in the second round, in fight. And then it's just he landed 18 punches for the fight. It was 8 rounds.
Well, I don't think it was a farce. I mean, the hype, you were not excited leading into the fight?
No, I'm talking about once we got in the ring.
I understand that.
He never came forward after the second round.
But for the first 2 rounds, you were not excited? You absolutely were. Don't lie. You know that the first 2 rounds you thought, okay, we might be onto something here.
Well,
and then after that, he couldn't move, and it was over with. And that's the beauty of it. You should have been betting Jake Paul, laying a big number to win the fight.
I mentioned, was there a gentleman's agreement? Because there was a shot that he took, and then Paul looked at him and then stuck his tongue out. Maybe if there was a sign there about, hey, that hurt me, take it easy. Who knows? But after the second round, it was just nothing happened. Nothing happened. So
that, by the way, that picture, if you're watching the show, was here at Circa.
Can you believe it? That's Jeff Benson who tweeted that out at Mega Bar.
He said he's never seen it like that ever.
That's like 8 deep.
That's how excited people were for the fight. And this is all over, for the radio audience, this is all over social media. Jeff Benson, Circa, they all tweeted it out too. Up next, more fallout, observations from yesterday in the NFL. I'll never understand what happened with this team yet again.
Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I actually think my biggest takeaway from the fight is this. Netflix, you got a little bit more than a month. You can't have that happen on Christmas Day. You missed most of the undercard fight, which was absolutely brilliant until they robbed the loser of the fight.
Serrano, was that
Serrano got absolutely robbed.
Highway robbery. Great fight. Kept buffering, in and out, go back, watch live, go out, man. Come back in. What's going on? Thankfully, it didn't happen during the Tyson fight, but that's just...
I was ready to give up. See, I'm not even going to do it tonight. I'll go back and watch a replay after it's posted. But it finally stayed after a little while. I think I was a little bit behind by a couple of 3 minutes the way it looked.
I thought you were out right away when it was Mauro Ranallo, like a little Joe Tessitore. Oh, we got a big one tonight, everybody. Let me tell you. And then you got Rosie Perez.
Interesting.
Sure. Yeah. And then why did I have to see his ass? What happened there? He's walking around naked? Nobody... But they put the camera on his caboose? What? Come on, Mike.
There's nobody... There's nobody vetting this. That's a possibility.
He turns around and goes, "Did I just see Tyson's ass?"
Oh yeah, you did.
What is that?
The whole world did. Yeah.
Oh, I know. We see that. The other big winner I thought too was Sydney Thomas, the ring girl from Alabama. Oh, she had a big day, and she was blowing up on social media. She was fantastic.
The cameraman knew what was going on.
Yeah.
He had one job, and he deserves a pay raise, or she, whatever. Deserves a pay raise for that camera work.
No, you're exactly right, though. They have to get their act together.
If that's going to be a problem on Christmas Day, the entire country is going to be they're going to be breaking things at home. Can't do that.
Yep.
And by the way, Arash Markazi tweeted this out. Evidently, there was like a reality show reunion last April that they did live on Netflix.
Oh, really?
And it buffered, and it had the latency problems the entire time. And he's like, you have a year and a half to figure this out. He went back and retweeted it. He goes, you cannot do this for big events. You can't do it on Christmas.
Good job.
And it was there for a huge fight, and the entire country wanted to watch it. I mean, I can't even imagine how much handle was bet during that game or on the fight. We talked about it all week last week, including Friday. So,
yep. How about the line after the fight? Why were you biting your gloves? I have a biting sensation.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Well, he's not avoiding what happened years ago.
I know.
He's admitting to it anyway.
Yes. He's fighting his gloves in the ring.
Okay, so how about yesterday in the NFL? I looked to confirm this twice. The Jets last Sunday, opened up 3. In fact, at the biggest offshore book in the world, that's where they opened, got as high as 4.5. They closed 3.5 at a lot of spots. To be favored again, fine, because you don't know what was going to happen with Richardson and the Colts. Side note, it looked like those 2 weeks off actually helped him out quite a bit. He looked great.
Yep.
But they took money during the week. Closed higher than the number opened. What is going on? They are awful.
Reminds me of the year the Cleveland Browns went winless.
Bingo.
But they kept taking money. They can't stop anything. The quarterback's finished. Overrated. You bring in these toys. Wilson's become a non-factor. It's a joke. Look at headlines. They were 4.5. I laughed on air. I just don't care.
That's right.
I don't care who was playing quarterback for the Colts. And now the season's over. Now we'll really see if they check out. And even if they put Rodgers on the bench. I mean, it just, I can't explain it.
So they're gonna...
Why is the defense so bad, too? Early on, you could say, hey, they're in these games. They should have beat Denver, Greg the leg, whatever. I mean, their kicker, they just signed, makes a 58-yard field goal, and they still lose the game because they can't stop anything. So they get turned out to be right. That at least Sal a new defense, and they're 1-5 since they whacked him. So everything has gone wrong for this organization, and the fans have the bags over their head.
How about this? If a book would have posted odds on will the Jets, if Aaron Rodgers plays X amount of games, and they'll have a worse record than last year's team with Zach Wilson.
Oh,
and that's going to happen the way it appears.
I can't believe it.
And then what happens next year?
Outplayed Bills, should have beat them. Special teams fiasco, right?
Yep.
Outplayed Minnesota in the second half. Should have won the game. What has happened?
How do you lose the Denver game?
Yeah.
There are several examples of this over and over this year.
The Patriot game, 1 in a million shot. When you look at the stats numbers, didn't turn the ball over. But it's just what happened defensively? When they need to get a stop, they can never do it. And you can gash them all day on the ground.
Yeah,
although they did a better
long.
job against Taylor. But then you're right here. Richardson, who struggled much of the year, comes right in and looks like Superman. And then you still score all these points at home in a must-win, and you can't get it done. And the Arizona debacle, 77, 78 yards, 80 yards. So you can't get...
Never say never, but I can't imagine Rodgers going to be back next year.
Would you want him back?
Well, I know. What would be the point? Why would you want to?
Oh.
I think you just move on. I think you just say, hey, pal, we tried it for a couple of years, only won because of the injury. Mm-hmm. Good luck. If you want to get traded, or I don't even know what the parameters of that would look like. If you want to go sign somewhere else, go ahead. Watch, he'll probably do exactly what Brett Favre did and go sign with Minnesota. And they'll slowly bring J.J. McCarthy back off the injury, and Sam Darnold won't be the guy next year. And then he'll finish exactly like Favre did. Also, the situation in Chicago is just incredible. You cannot make up how the head coach now doubled down yet again. This happened after the Commanders' Hail Mary on Monday to the media in Chicago. He said, no, I don't. The play before when we gave up 13 yards had nothing to do with the Hail Mary. Total buffoon, right? Then yesterday, he's not running the clock down and trying to utilize the timeout and get more yards in an appropriate fashion to get closer for his field goal kicker. And he doubled down by saying we were in a good spot. I was okay with the 46-yarder. I like where we had it on the football field. Meanwhile, media talked to several Green Bay Packers players afterwards. And to a man, each person said, I can't believe they didn't run at least one more play. Quay Walker said, you have to run a minimum of one more play. Yep. And then there's this, the special teams coach, Bisaccia, who coulda, woulda, shoulda been the Raiders head coach when he led them to the playoffs after taking over for Gruden a couple years ago. He basically said, LaFleur said this, Rich Bisaccia told the team, I will not understand if we come out of this game without a block kick, either a field goal or a PAT, because that's what they saw on film. And it was gettable through the middle of the line. And that's exactly what happened. But the Bears, no, we don't have any issues here. We don't see anything wrong with our offensive line during snapping and the special teams part of the game. And we're not going to go any closer than a 46-yard field goal.
How good is that comment and that quote? What an indictment on the Bears staff.
Exactly.
That they study film, and between their block unit and what they do on field goals, and then how Santos kicks it low, that they were so confident they were going to get a block. And it resembled, wasn't the same thing. It was close to what happened last week in Kansas City. It's a total jailbreak. Mm-hmm. And guys come in, and it's just a blitzkrieg. And several guys could have got a paw on it. And to lose like that and be stubborn, he does it again. No, we were good. We felt good, and that was the distance. We felt, why would you want to get closer? Yep, one guy, bingo. Harbaugh's a winner. What does he do? He could have took a knee and kicked a long field goal. Sure. He's got Dicker, very reliable. Nope, right in here's a touchdown. How do you like that? And Dobbins breaks one. It's just it's buffoons and great coaching and why you have a winner. And again, you could have had that guy. You could have had Harbaugh. You could have had Vrabel. You could have had Belichick. You kept this guy around, and now you're going to taste and suck on a 5-win season.
And here's what I hate myself over yesterday is that I actually trusted the Bears on that. It was after they picked up the 4th down conversion. I bet them twice live to win the game.
Oh, it's 3rd and 20. I know.
Yeah.
How did they pick that up?
It was 16 yards to Odunze, and then Odunze wide open again to pick up the conversion. And I'm like, they're going to win this game. I never thought once that Eberflus would settle like that. I should have, because he's an idiot, and he screws up every imaginable situation known to man.
He does.
And I'm a dummy for betting on it.
Yep. Loses every close game. Can't win a division game. That's 11 in a row with the Packers now against Chicago. And the number here, since 1940, the Bears are 101-24 when they have no turnovers on offense and create a takeaway on defense. 3 of the losses have come in the last 3 weeks. I mean, this stuff's impossible.
Yeah, bye.
What's going on?
Bye-bye, buddy.
It never should have brought him back, but certainly should have been gone after the Hail Mary. And they showed some guts. The change at least worked for 1 week, got the running game going, had definitely a chance to win the game, and you gave it away. It's infuriating because it's the same. Even a guy like Shanahan, it's like, when are you going to learn? When are you going to be aggressive? You drive a Lamborghini, you keep it in the garage all week. Take it out. Go for a ride. 4th and 5. No, I'm going to punt. How many times does this have to happen to you?
How about 4th and 1 at the 35-yard line?
How many times?
And it was his own 35-yard line. But again, you can't get 1 yard with that offense. It's maddening, man.
Yeah.
Also, Atlanta is 6-5 with a negative 30-point differential. And what do they have, a 2-game lead in their division?
No pass rush. Nothing. What are you doing defensively? What's Morris doing? You're a defensive guy. Nix has all day back there. 28 of 33?
Oh, Raheem Morris, by the way. Again, they would not hire Bill Belichick. Raheem Morris, defensive guy. Good job out of him. And so I know that people complain about the quarterback play. I actually think the coaching issue was worse than the quarterback play.
I agree with you.
How about the Jonnu Smith touchdown by the Dolphins?
Oh, boy.
Now,
There's nobody there.
The Raiders are not a very good football team. I know that. But it goes back to, how do you settle for this guy as the head coach? The players wanted him, so we got to hire the guy. They are lost. It's off a bye. He's open by 30 yards. Come on.
Yep. Well said. You ever get red hot betting and think your picks are worth money? Juice Reel, changing the way sports bettors buy and sell betting advice. You and everyone else links their accounts into Juice Reel. All your history loads into the app. Everyone's bets imported straight from the books. You're as good as your betting data says you are. Unlock the picks real talented bettors have their money on and get paid real money when other people unlock your picks. Fully transparent betting advice from real people only on Juice Reel. REEL. Get it? Download it. Grab it. Juice Reel. Get the app.
Win Some, Lose Some is up next. The odds for most points scored by a team in college football and first team to score a touchdown cashed at ridiculous odds over the weekend. Paulie with the details next on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
You spoke, we listened. Introducing the all-new VSiN Watch app. Now, you can watch and listen to VSiN expert analysis live wherever you are. Missed a show? No problem. Catch replays of VSiN's full lineup at any time. View highlights sorted by sport. Or use the search feature to find specific teams and topics you're looking for. And the best part? It's free for a limited time. Download the VSiN Watch app today. Available now on the App Store and Google Play. And join us on the Sports Betting Network. last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
First touchdown of the early games, Packers plus 750. A team to score 50 points, 5-1. Most points, Lions plus 350. Fewest points, Jags 6-1. Falcons 14-1. Dead heat. Come on, Atlanta. Highest scoring game, Lions Jags 7-1. Lowest scoring game, Ravens Steelers 15-1.
New prop idea for next year.
Yeah?
Will the highest scoring team and the lowest scoring team play in the same game? Lions and Jags.
Good call. I talked about this on air. I know it was hard to get there because of the blowout factor, which happened, but Goff most passing 20-1. It was, it was just his quote after the game. Again, another indictment of Jacksonville. We could draw up anything we wanted. We felt everything was going to work. It did. It did. Come on. 65 yards, touchdown. 93 yards, touchdown. 64 yards, touchdown. 84 yards, touchdown. 80 yards, touchdown.
The players were asked why they were doing that, running up the score. They're like, you don't want us to do it? Play better.
That's right.
Come in here and play better then.
Yeah. Most rushing yards, Taysom Hill, I have no idea. No, I didn't see. Who would offer that? What? God, that's embarrassing by Cleveland. Most receiving yards, St. Brown 10-1. Here's what Mitch was talking about. Chris Andrews and other books offer this every Saturday. First touchdown of the early games, UMass scored. All those early games and all those powerhouses, UMass 75-1. And most points, FCS against FCS, South Florida 60-1.
Now, how about that?
Look at those tickets that cashed. Stanford 11-1. I don't know how they came back to beat Louisville. Louisiana Tech plus 350. Troy plus 245. South Alabama 2-1. Syracuse plus 330. Arizona State plus 250. New Mexico plus 350. Their first win against a ranked team since 2003. Their win total was as low as 1.5. If they beat Hawaii next week, they're going to a bowl.
Incredible.
What a job, Mendenhall. FCS, Furman plus 470. Sacred Heart 5-1. St. Thomas 425. Tennessee Tech was 4-1. We got it all here for you. UFC, Miller by sub 8-1. Round 1, 6-1. Tibura, knockout 5-1. Bramaj, knockout 10-1. Round 1, 6-1. Elliott by knockout 5-1 to win in round 3, 15-1. Jones, round 3, what a finish. 6-1. Nickel by decision, 8-1. For a guy who's priced $1,500, it sure is a sweat. I mean, he's supposed to knock these guys out in the first round, and it's a struggle.
Yep.
Paul Tyson, Paul by decision, 3-1. No knockdown, plus 225. To go the distance, open plus 170. England, League One. 5 total matches, 5 unders, and 4 draws. Harrogate Town plus 350. This cashed over the weekend. NBA, first player to score 60. Fox was 40-1.
He also followed it up with 49 the next game. It's the most since Kobe did that when he was on that run.
Wow. That's incredible. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Look at the dog surfing. He's catching some waves. Spicoli. The dog riding the surfboard the whole way, and he's got it in right next to the human. No problem. Butt up, paw down, piece of cake.
All he needs is a cool buzz.
That's right. Absolutely. Order pizza in class. That's awesome. Oh, he has that the whole time. That is phenomenal. And this one's called the big fella, Chunky Baby. The little puppy falls down, goes down the slide, and then walks out, and he comes...
Well, he has it all figured out, right?
Yeah, right.
Why waste my time going step by step?
Yeah, that just slide down, right? I thought he was going to trip and fall, too, and just get back up as well. Excellent. Plenty of lose some. College football. Charlotte, plus 3.5, went off the favorite. No good. Liberty, 13.5 up to 17. Barely survived. Clemson, 9 up to 13.5. Almost lost. Cal, 6.5 up to 10. They did lose. SMU, 14.5 up to 19. Won by 10. Georgia State, plus 1, went off the favorite. No good. Nebraska, plus 9, down to 6.5. The early people got there. Down, lost by 8. Maryland, Rutgers over. 50.5 up to 55. 31-17. Packers, 2.5 up to 6. No good. Ravens, Steelers over. 44.5 up to 48.5. Also no good. Bad for the books. Air Force from 5 down to 2.5. Tulane under 53.5 down to 49. Colorado from 9 up to 13.5. Also no problem. Bo Nickel 880 up to 1400. Packers, Bears under 44.5 down to 40.5. Lions 10.5 up to 14. Denver plus 2.5 went off a 2.5 point favorite. Piece of cake. They also go over their win total. Great call. I give Humans credit. He changed his mind. He was on the under and then reversed course after what Knicks did in the preseason. Easy cash there. Bengals 43 up to 48. The Sunday night game over as well. Bad beats Serrano. The women's fight before Tyson-Paul. Washington State, New Mexico under 72.5. 17 points in the last 4 minutes. 38-35. And I had it. Others who, I can't believe how many people were on this. But we all, it was a sick joke. San Jose plus 14 or 14.5. They're up 14-0. 4th and goal at the 1 to go up 21-0. Boise stuffs them.
I love the play call, actually.
Yep. Then they go 90 yards. Okay, still. The Boise comes all the way back. Then Boise's up 7 at their own 10 with 7 minutes left. If you tell me Boise's going to go 90 yards and it's not going to be a big play, well, the clock's going to run out or there's no time left. But Boise went 90 yards to go up 14, but there were still 90 seconds left. Then San Jose State's driving. Imagine if you got 14.5. San Jose State's driving, pick 6, 70 yards. Now Boise's up 21. Stay calm. Don't panic. San Jose State takes it into the 1 yard line. Stuffed. 2nd and goal. Stuffed. 3rd and goal. Sack. Time expires.
Ball game.
You can't lose that game.
I watched almost the entire game.
Ah.
That has to be one of the worst beats of the entire year.
They're
also calling ridiculous plays. There was a reverse that they did that was going to be a touchdown, and they fumbled it on the pitch. It's just like, guys, they had 100 chances. They could have won the game outright.
Yeah.
Forget about covering 14.5, and they lose by 21. If you watch the game, you know exactly what we're talking about. Gut-wrenching way to lose.
Boise's up 7 with the ball with 7 minutes at their own 10. Imagine if you had 14.5. So even if they score, it's okay.
Right, sure.
But then the pick 6, and then they come all the way back, and just to stick it to you, they have 1st and goal at the 1. No gain, 2-yard loss, and then the quarterback sacked and the time runs out. You can't be serious. Ready to try something different? Sign up, start playing the Ponies First Bet. First Bet US based, offers wagering on hundreds of races every day across the country and around the world. Sign up firstbet.com, promo code VSiN200. Claim a 20% rebate for your first 60 days, up to $200. Head to firstbet.com today.
One more observation on that undercard on the Tyson-Paul fight, Serrano in the women's fight that lost. So the referee deducted a point from her opponent because she was obviously headbutting Serrano multiple times.
Yeah.
Not only was she blatantly headbutting her, several times throughout the fight, she would headbutt her and then continue to drive her head into the eyeball. She isolated that area on Serrano's eye over and over and over and over again. He only deducted 1 point. Serrano, so with that point deduction, she still lost across the board on all the cards?
And Netflix had her winning comfortably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ridiculous.
As I think that every logical human being.
Yeah.
It was an absurd decision.
Yep.
I could not thank God I didn't bet that fight.
Apparently, that gal has a history of doing that, too.
Oh, big. Well, did you see the post-fight interview?
Yeah, that guy was great.
He was livid about it.
Yeah.
He purposely stepped in when Ariel Helwani was interviewing Serrano and said, hold on a second here, I got something to say. And went off for like 4 minutes on a rant. Mm-hmm. And it was just, I felt his pain.
The hole. I mean, she's got a big gap there.
Look, somebody hit her with an axe right there. It was gigantic. Disgusting.
Fiasco.
Yeah. You know what? The college football stuff all works its way out, right? Because of New Mexico beating Washington State. So now no way the Cougars can be a part of the conversation. Well. BYU losing. Well. Now they're going to have to run the table and win the Big 12 title.
One from the ACC, one from the Big 12.
Yep.
That's right.
And
typical, right? That's how did they lose that game? The pooch kick and it hits the guy in the head. And then you have 3 points in your hip pocket. Horrible play call. And then the interception before halftime. Why would you throw that?
I know. The
play design sucked, and then there's no reason to make that throw. You don't throw an interception. Came back to bite him. Yep. Just like what Tucker did. And BYU, after catching the breaks, all the breaks went against them, and they go down.
So Nick Bogdanovich is going to be coming up in 20 minutes in studio here with us. We'll go over some look-ahead lines and conference title odds with him at that point as well. I can't wait. Like, what does he make Colorado against BYU if that's the game? Also, good luck trying to figure out who's going to be in the SEC title game. Again, this possibility of an 8-way tie with 2 losses is real. That can happen. And this quarterback is still worth a bet to win the MVP. Do you concur? Next here on VSiN.
This Black Friday, get a VSiN Pro subscription for just $60 through May 1st. Our best deal of the